Right. So it must be live now.
Yes, we are.
All right. So it must be live now.
Yes, we are.
Hey, hello, everybody. Let me pause this music. Live now. Oh my God, so many echoes. That was a. Hey, hello, everybody. The music was the worst idea ever because it make a lot of echo and we cannot hear it well. Okay, so yeah, welcome to the second edition of the SMB Tech Summit. This time we entering here into the full stack D. That's the new music of the SAP Cloud Platform. It's a very nice video. I'm gonna share with you the link in the comments. And let's see who we have here today. So first one is starting with my co-host Jacob. Hello, Jacob.
Hi, Ralph. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hopefully, you are doing good. Yeah.
Oh, Jacob, we are hear you with a little bit of breakup. Maybe your connection, maybe if you restart it would be better, but we are breaking up a little bit. We also have I think it's almost our co-host as well. Second time she's here, Trinidad Martinez. Hello, Trinidad.
Hello.
She's very shy today, as I spoke with
What
her.
do you want me to say?
Hi, I'm
Hello.
Trinidad Martinez. I'm happy because you came on
Happy to see you
yesterday.
again.
That's how it is. And then we have a very, very important guest here today. She's a doctor and she talks about UX at the end of this Hangout. Please welcome Masha. Hi, Masha.
Hi, Masha.
She's on
I
mute.
think she's mute.
Masha, you're still on mute. You need to unmute to say hi and say who.
Hi.
All right, now we can hear you.
Great. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we are very here with and I think you were not here the last time, so I would like to introduce you a little bit yourself. Who are you? What are you doing? And yeah, that's it.
Sorry, I think I have a technical problem. I have a delay, and it's
Okay.
maybe.
You are watching us in the YouTube video, so there is the delay. You need to watch it inside the app.
Let me just reconnect again because I'm hearing a lot of voices again and again.
All right.
Yes.
You just have to mute the YouTube.
Yes, just mute the YouTube.
Okay, so I turned off, unmuted the YouTube.
Yes, that's
Okay.
let me see.
Yeah, you saved me. It was going crazy. So thank you so much for introducing me. Yes, I'm Mahsa. I'm a user experience product manager working in SAP Business One team, and I'm based in Germany. Thank you for having me today in this session. And yes, back to you, Ralph.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so I think the technical problems are solved, and we can start our second SMB Hangout. But we're gonna start with the feedbacks that we got from the last time we were
Yep.
here. Very good feedbacks from the SMB community in general. Actually, one of the feedbacks was, Ralph, stop moving your chair because you're making me dizzy. So I will try to stop now. But yeah, most of people like it very much, the content. Some of them say the content is too technical. So this is a tech hangout. That's the main idea. But Trinidad, let me pass the ball to you now. You've been going details into those feedbacks. What do you think? Are we delivering what the community is asking for, or should we start doing things different?
So
How was the feedback?
okay, you're also breaking out. Sorry.
Oh.
So it's a date. So yeah, we got many comments back. Most part of it were really positive. We didn't have any special requests on what you would like to see. We would like to hear more on that. What do you would like to see, and what do you think about what we said? And yes, as Ralph said, some of them very saying it's too technical, so there we will not change. It will be more and more technical. We want you to know how to do things, not just to hear the names Leonardo and SAP Cloud Platform and machine learning, but to know how to use it. So yeah, that's the reason of this Hangouts, to give you technical points where to start developing. Yeah, that's it from my side. I think Ralph is completely frozen. We need
I
to
think it's
find
having some
another
bad.
presenter. So go for it, Jacob.
So just to build on top of Trinidad's point. So let's say if you would like to hear more technical sessions or deep dive into certain topics, please let us know exactly what you would like to hear. So that will actually help us to scope it better. Otherwise, we just keep it very freestyle, and then we will just move on with certain topics that we feel that is relevant for SMB. So let's say this time around we are looking into UX. So that's why this second session of the SMB Tech Hangout is the UX is Queen. So and we also need to realize that actually UX is very important because it's like the interface, that the first touch point that the customer or the end user will actually engage in any products or in any services. So that's very important. Yep. So I think Raf is back online. I hope.
Yes,
So
I am sorry for my technical problem.
no issues.
And yeah, so I think you passed by the feedbacks part. So one thing that we forgot to mention in the last SMB Tech Summit, which was very important, actually was one of the reasons we started doing these things, is for you also, Jacob, to mention about what is the APJ Seed Challenge, actually SMB Seed Challenge, and the version that you are implementing on APJ. So please explain the details, what it is, why it's important to have partners, what happened, and so on.
Yep. Thank you so much, Raf, for this opportunity. So I would like to just take these few minutes to actually share about like the SEED program, or rather the SEED initiative that we have kickstarted. So maybe just let me share my screen, if that would be good. Okay. Okay, so before I dive straight into the development challenge for this year, I just want to explain a little bit on the motivation for SEED. So as the word speaks, it's actually seeding into the next generation on how we can actually improve the SMB solutions for our customers, and especially how we can improve it in terms of putting in more innovation juice into this whole ecosystem of SMB solutions. So it actually started off with just a simple idea on how we can help partners to actually develop more on the innovation solutions, especially like, the standard ERP solution is there already, like the functions and all that could help the business. But we start to see, if you realize there's a lot of disruptive technologies that have birthed off new business models and things like that. So we started to see how SEED could be an initiative to help B1 partners. So that's one of the pillars. And in fact, SEED, we actually birth off to 2 different pillars as well. So in total, there's 3. Another side of it is that we started to see there's a lot of startups that's out there in the market, and we would like to collaborate with them in terms of how we can bring their solutions that could complement with B1 to support the ERP solutions. Especially their solutions are very modern looking in terms of their UX and in terms of their business process and things like that. So it will actually be very beneficial, not only just for the partners to learn from their whole agile methodology, their mindset, and the mechanics that how they work in the organization, but also it could actually benefit the customers. So that's the second pillar. And the third pillar is more like working with universities to help to actually include students as part of their so-called talents, in terms of how we can grow their talents or run some programs subsequently to actually include as well. So this is the broad 3 pillars that we thought that SEED initiative could help in terms of seeding into the future generations of the SMB solutions. All right. So let me dive straight into the SEED development challenge. So we have actually kickstarted the development challenge since last year in APJ, and we just since it being the first time that we started this, we of course there's a lot of struggles, and there's a lot of things that we started to learn and all. But I start to see like there's a lot of partners having their skill sets being stretched to the limits. And then back then there was we already know HANA is as a platform. Then we start to see not just only being an in-memory technology that could help the database to run faster and all, but it could help partners to develop newer solutions on the HANA platform. And then we start to see like SCP is there as well, and loosely coupled solution is then being one of the outcome that we like hope to see. So that's yes.
Basically, this is a challenge for the partners to create solutions that implement some kind of innovation, right?
Yep.
And I imagine the partners can struggle a little bit because they are used to work with some kind of technologies. Now we place a lot of things in the table for them. How we help them to achieve these innovations? How do we help them in terms of building these solutions?
Yep. That's a very good point. Like how, like on the part on the how, actually the solution architect team has developed a very cool series of the B1 HANA extensibility e-learning material. So that's actually one of the approach that the partners could learn, and that's on like how they are able to get themselves enabled as well. And another part is that we actually run like focus group calls. It's like a community call that we actually host in that sense as part of the development challenge to answer to any questions or issues that the partner face in the development challenge. So these are two options that we actually have. But of course, we are open up to audiences here. That if you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to let me know or let us know. We can implement that as well. Yep.
That's great. And what was the result from the last session, the last time you guys run this seed challenge? Who won it? What was the product? What was the cool innovation? Can you tell?
Yes. Yep. I will be sharing that right now. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes. You're not seeing
right.
your screen.
Okay, so you can't see me for a while. Okay, so I'll just briefly run through. So basically for APJ, we have 9 submissions. Then for EMEA, there's 6, if I'm not wrong. And then for North America, there's 3. So I'll just briefly go through very quickly. I'll not go so much in details. So one of the submissions that we have is actually from India, Stockyan. So this is actually focusing more on the retail industry, how they actually it's actually a real customer use case as well. Basically selling things like selling machines, washing machines, as you can see on the screenshot on the right side there. So it's basically an actual customer use case where they thought that like how they could stock count, and then they basically make use of SAP and then the mobile notification services and all, that they could use a mobile device to do a stock count much easier. So that's one of the approach. And then the yep. So I just move on. Next is another interesting, or rather a new business model that has birth forth is the they call it the billboard tracker. It's by Pristine Solutions from Sri Lanka, right? So it's basically it's an advertisement as a service. So what they do is to have different advertising boards or billboards that they could offer it out to merchants to register their advertisements, and then or rather like or rather businesses who has certain advertisements that they want to put up in different locations, so they're able to use this app to actually put up their advertisements to the different billboards. Let's say they want to focus on like the advertisement reaching out to education, so they will be able to see by the location-based services, the LBS, to see which location has the most students or that has the most educators, and then they could just so-called post their advertisement in that billboard. So that's this one interesting submission as well. Then the third one is Microfin by Vestric Solutions from India, right? So this solution is basically improving or rather to simplify the payment process it's one of fintech solution to simplify loan and payment process. So it's more focusing on actual use case also for the rural areas in India. Right, and then of course we have other submissions like Pepper from Vietnam. Basically, is to integrate the Pepper robot to improve on the spa customer service, right? To actually improve on the user experience. And then the second one is Ocular, is more for the optics retailers to manage their prescription sales better. And the next one is the online box from China, developed by MTC. So it's basically a visual designer tool to customize B1 modules. It's like an extension of how you could so-called extend B1 modules through their interface. Then the next 3 from Taiwan, we have from New Dragon, this partner. They actually focus on the salon business. So they have this app to actually manage their customer and inventory better. And next one is the document scan from India by Vestrix, whereby it's using the OCR and machine learning to improve on the so-called handwritten order that could actually be converted into an actual sales order in B1. And last but not least, we have a submission called Apps Connect. Is an integrator tool developed by InSync. So it's a platform where, as a service, to connect B1 to popular commerce solutions like Shopify. So one of the examples that they have submitted is for ShipStation. So these are the few submissions that we have received from APJ, and then from the email side, we actually have a few blog links that we can actually put it up in the chat as well.
Yeah, let's make sure to share those links in the chat. One thing I'm noticing, and I think we can say that, right? Is a challenge that the partners will learn how to use all these cool technologies and how to use all the services available in SAP Cloud Platform, HANA Platform, and so on. But they also they're not just making prototypes. We are incubating their own products, right? They are selling those products, I suppose, right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. They are not just only like creating a prototype or just a sketch or ideas, but they are really transforming the ideas into reality, like into a working app where they could actually be on top of like the go-to-market model and to commercialize it.
All right, cool. So basically, this session now that this edition you are running now is valid to APJ only, right?
Yes. So the second round that we are running is for APJ only. Of course, we will discuss internally to see whether we could adopt it for other regions as well. So stay tuned for that. Yep.
Yeah, I would say stay tuned. And if you are not from APJ, if you're from APJ, go to your local product expert, solution architect, say that you want to participate. Doesn't matter if you're going to start from scratch creating a solution, or if you already have one solution and want to enhance it with any kind of innovation. So IoT, machine learning, text analysis and stuff and such. So this kind of things. So run to your contact in SAP and say, I want to participate in the Seeds Challenge. And for the other regions, which we are not running this currently, we did an edition last year. So, but now we are currently not running for EMEA, Latin America, and North America. But I would say instead of just stay tuned, to make some pressure as well, right, Jacob, on your LPs and contacts and whoever's to make that happen. I mean, we solution architects, we can help a lot, but we are not the ones organizing that. Anyway, it's just a matter of if the community wants, of course, we can deliver. All right. Anything else from this? Girls, comments. Trinda, you participated a lot in the with Versino last year, right? In the challenge, in the EMEA version. Any comments?
Yeah. Well, we had the same version in EMEA, and the nice thing is what I really appreciate on that, and I think also other partners will appreciate, is to see what other partners are doing, which kind of technologies are being used. Because what we are missing the most in the solution architect teams, at least myself, is to know which kind of applications you develop, how you develop, which kind of technologies you use. Because we spread the word around, you hear it, I hope. And then afterwards, we don't get feedback. So we just hear when it's not working. So we know the things that doesn't work and how to fix them. But we don't know when everything is going very well and you have very successful customer. So that was very, very nice to have, because we had for each one of them, we got a presentation on the architecture, technologies used, etc. So it was really, really interesting. And I think partners also like it to be able to see what other partners are doing. And at the same time, they get a bit a support from us. So we really take care about those partners who want to be part of this challenge. So I think it's advantage for everybody. I really like it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's a good reminder. All the final participants got a session in the Innovation Summit, right? They could show, present to the audience.
And the winner got a presentation on the principal keynotes. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. All right. If you want to get free tickets to the Innovation Summit next year.
Oh yeah, it was a free ticket. Yeah. For the
prep yourself for the APJ challenge this time and make pressure for the others. That will help us a lot. Okay, I think we can jump to the other from the other topics from the audience. We got something that is already scheduled. Andres again talking about the multi-tenancy in cloud platform. We're going to talk about this in a moment. We just have some more remarks to do regarding the contents we published last month. And the first one I need to say is regarding, if you were here last time, we talked about the face recognition app that was made by the SMB Innovation Labs. We got Drew Bates with us last time. And he made the promise live that the code will be shared in the upcoming week. He of course, he's a man of word. So, and the following week, we got the link to the open source code of the face recognition app that was showed in the pre-summits. We are going to share with you in a moment in the chat of this Hangout. So we have like a blog post explaining all the concepts, and then a link to the source code where you can download and try it yourself. It's a very nice concept. It's not just a matter of face recognition. They call it in-store face recognition with analytics or something like this. Maybe I'm not doing the marketing job properly, but it's good because you have those insights that you normally get on e-commerce, like bounce rates and the time of the timing of the visit, how long your customers stay in your store. This is very common for e-commerces, but now you can get that in a brick and mortar shop. So that was a very cool concept, and I'm going to share with you the link in a moment. The other thing as well, and this I think I can show you. Let me see if I can share my screen. So this, we share two important links for you in the last month. Let me know if Jacob, you're seeing my screen. Can you see it?
Yep, you can see your screen.
Yeah. So the first one. I did a very quick demo last time about how you can create and deploy your first loosely coupled solution with SAP Cloud Platform. So we did a very, very fast demo, just showing how you deploy it, some of the connections with Business One. So I end up doing like a blog explaining step by step how you can go and do that. So I will share the link with you in a moment. This is a repository that you can. It's written in a way that every branch of this repository is a next step for your application. So you start with step 1, for example, which is a very simple application that will just list the V1 items. I have some screenshot of it. And once this is done, you can go and enhance your solution with more and more steps. So you advance to the step 2. I teach you how to scale a solution in the SAP Cloud Platform, how you can use the API Business Hub, which is something that we're going to talk about more in a moment as well, how to consume services from SAP Cloud Platform. So this application, you will deploy it on the cloud, you will scale that according to the users. So for example, if you are having more traffic on your application, an auto scale can handle this kind of traffic. The third part is how you consume the services of the cloud. So for example, if you want to have a database, Postgre database, for example, Mongo, one RabbitMQ for dealing with queues on your application. All of these concepts we are covered in there, and at last we integrate that with Business One at the end. So we just read the items from Business One, and at the end we sync. This is a synchronization part to sync the items that are in the cloud with the items which are to Business One, using of course the service layer. So this is one link I need to share with you. And the other one, here I will ask Trinidad for help to talk a little bit about it. It's one very cool concept that we implemented regarding, probably you have heard about the intelligent enterprise, right? So here, this small POC. This is another link that we're gonna share with you as well. But I just wanna focus on this slide for now. So let me just open it a little bit, yeah. So of course we have videos showing these demos and explaining, and the blog explained very well the concept behind it. But this for the first time we deliver one application, one prototype. Of course, everything we do are prototypes, proof of concept. But for the first time we deliver one application that is completely loosely coupled with any ERP. In this case, both Business One and Business by Design, as you can see here. So our application logic is entirely in the SAP Cloud Platform. And the user interface of this application, and we're going to talk about UX later, is nothing simpler than purely a Facebook messenger. So we don't have to create a UI for that. We don't have to run in a specific platform or such. No, we just have a user interacting with a chatbot using Facebook. and interacting with our application that is hosted in the SAP Cloud Platform. And the backend of our application, the core of the digital core, as we're saying these days, are both the Business One and the SAP Business by Design. So in this sense, the end user have no idea what is the ERP that is in the back of the application. He's only dealing with our app in the front, and in the back we have those two flavors of ERP. And we could, of course, plug another ERP easily in there as well. But okay, so what is this application all about? What we are talking here? What this is doing? Right. So here the diagram is pretty much straightforward, but everything starts with you as a Facebook user. You are talking to what we call the SMB marketplace assistant bot. You will send her simply an image of a shoe, a pair of shoes, for example, that you want to buy from our company or from many companies, as we have many ERPs in there. It will send this image to the SAP Cloud Platform, where our application will get this image and compare this image with a set of other images that we have in our library. All this comparison, just to check if we have a similar item in there in one of the ERPs that is plugged into the application, is done by the SAP Leonardo. So the SAP Leonardo has a couple of APIs that helps us to first extract what we call features from the images, and then compares those features with a set of images that we have stored. So based on this, Leonardo will tell us, okay, so this image that you are providing me is similar to the 3 or 4 other images that you already have on your library. This will come to our application again, and then we will do a simple check. So these images that Leonardo is telling me, are they from Business One? Are they from By Design? What these items are from which ERP? And depending on the ERP, we're going to get the information on that ERP, such as the price, the amount, the quantity in stock, for example, the item name, the item code we already have back then. And with this information, we go back to the user. The user have a list of all the items with prices and such. And everything starts here in this diagram is a very fancy and beautiful image, but actually in the blog that I'm going to share with you guys, you're going to see actually a live video showing actually let me see if I can just pause this here, but a live video showing like one real image taken directly from the camera from the iPhone. And let me just see if I can go a little bit bigger in here. Yeah, you can see in there, it's receiving all the items, and you can make the purchase already in that app. And just speeding up a little bit. Yeah, creating the order. I created 2 orders in this case because we bought 2 items, one from By Design, other one from Business One. And later we both will see the orders being set in both systems, so in By Design and Business One. So this is a very good example of this so-called intelligent enterprise, right? Where the digital core, both B1 and By Design, they are vanilla. They don't have any kind of customizations. They're just accessed through APIs. And our whole intelligence is set in a separate cloud, in this case, SAP Cloud Platform, working with like an orchestration of a bunch of services. So both Leonardo, both Business One with Service Layer, By Design with the OData services, and Facebook as well as a separate app to interface with the user. So yeah, so I have 3 links to share in the YouTube now, and I would just, while I do that, I will ask Trinidad, because Trinidad, you have been, let me just stop sharing my screen. Yeah, Trinidad, you have been doing this demo a lot, right? For some guys over there. So how is it going? Just remember you are on mute. How is it going? What are the impressions so far, and so on?
So the demos were very interesting. It's really a nice way to see feedback. So I don't know, what do you think, all people that is listening to us, first time you heard about it, but the idea, I think many people liked it, and they asked why we don't go live and sell it. So still not a final application, but we invite you to take it and develop it and sell it. Let's see if you get it. So the nice thing of this application is really surprising to get really the same shoes or very similar shoes. Sometimes you will discover you will get completely different shoes. Well, things will change a lot what we are doing is vectorizing the images. So when you take two images, can be that they are really different. They look the same, but because of the angle, they change completely. You make a photo with your feet, with your leg on it, or with your trousers on it. So everything can change a lot because you have to take into account that it's really making a picture of really, and comparing images. It's not really knowing the models and doing like we do. Our eyes are extracting more information than what an algorithm can do, but it's really, really good. And I think it's an amazing application that is there. So go and search for the source code. Not only is an amazing application, but it has many samples on how to use Service Layer, how to deploy on the Cloud Foundry, how to develop on Facebook. So everything is there, and you can really learn a lot on all the topics we are talking in all these Hangouts.
Speaking of which, this idea of selling, if you have some buyers, I mean, we can think about it, right?
I don't know why. The question is why Amazon hasn't done it yet, right?
Yeah. That's good. Masha, you are too quiet, and this is most of our team, they are not really UX. We are not really UX experts. We work with the tools we have, and in this case, we use Facebook. How do you see it? Do you think that we as developers should create our own UI, or just leverage things that are already there? For example, the Facebook Messenger or Fiori templates and such.
So I think these scenarios you showed are very amazing scenarios. It's showing how the user experience is shifting, using those chatbots and using those Facebook interfaces. It's really changing the way people are interacting with the systems, also with the voice. So I think depending on the use case that a developer is using for its application, you can decide to take whatever is there. Of course, if you take something for free, it's saving your time and effort to create a new user interface. On the other hand, if you think that you're using something that really needs visual information on the screen, that you would need to code your own UIs, you can also go for SAP Fiori. That is the UX language of SAP, and you can also enjoy, the benefits of Fiori, of having responsive design. It's possible for the customers to use it on any kind of devices that they have, and it doesn't matter on which device, and if they are using touch or if they use their mouse and keyboard, they are still able to interact with the system without facing any kind of problems. So I think those use cases you showed are very good examples and innovative examples how one could do it. And as far as you get something innovative outside, and you can put your own innovation, your own business logic on top of it, then you would definitely have something, as also Ralph and Jacob and Tridad mentioned, loosely coupled application that can really be quickly deployed, quickly updated, and can be accessible for the customers.
Mute. No, thank you. I was on mute. So you mentioned about the loosely coupled, and we are like stressing a lot, right, Trinidad? Every time we go everywhere, it's we don't even say good morning. We say like loosely coupled. Yeah, okay, that's something we talk a lot. And what was not surprising actually, but was good to see. I don't know if you guys have the opportunity to watch any of the keynotes in the Sapphire. This I think was last week, right? They mentioned that a lot as well. And one of the things was, all right, so first of all, like that's an event for huge customers, right? The big SAP, let's say it this way, not focused on the small and medium that we are used to work. But even though they're saying keep your core clean, I know we spend a lot of time doing customizations, and all those customizations and changes that we did in this digital core, they are now avoiding us to go further, avoiding us to implement more innovations and to change as the times are requiring us to do so. So the idea of having the central nerve now of the SAP applications is now the SAP Cloud Platform, and this is a good thing for the Business One and BYD community as well. That means you can have all your intelligence being of your app or your business logic hosted in a completely separate environment that will not depend directly of the ERP of any other application that is being connected with. Everything is an API away, so you just need an API to interface your solution with. All right. Yeah, speaking of Sapphire, so they have a lot of announcements in there as well, but I think for us, the only ones I found really relevant for our world is, first of all, they launched one SAP Cloud Platform Android SDK. This is a really nice feature for Android developers out there. We only seen SAP really focus on the iOS in the beginning, right? So Fiori iOS SDK, SAP, and the SAP Cloud Platform as well. And now we got this version for Android, which is really interesting. I will share a link with you guys in the YouTube as well. And what else? Yeah, the Web IDE. I don't know if you remember, in the beginning, we have a very odd idea of starting this with the music, which was a mess because the music was reverbing on and off from the YouTube to our microphones. But that music was from the Full Stack D, which is the new video clip from SAP Cloud Platform to promote the WebID Full Stack. And on the SAP Cloud Platform, this WebID Full Stack was really positioned as the unique ID version for developed cloud apps in the SAP Cloud Platform now. So if you're developing front-end, back-end, if you're developing Java, consuming any services of the SAP Cloud Platform, the WebID Full Stack is now the only tool that you need to do that. So yeah, I spoke a lot. Any additional comments before we jump into the main topic of this Hangout? Girls, guy? Nope.
No.
Nope, can't wait.
I do not even have time to have a little water. Okay. So let's jump into the main topic here today is UX, and we have two ladies here to talk about it. The first one I will start with Dr. Masha. So importance of UX. What are you doing with UX in terms of Business One? That emphasize you are our Business One UX specialist, right? So when did you join the team? It's been 6 months already? No.
I joined the team in October last year, and so I'm working at SAP for 7 years, working on different products. Before joining the Business One, I was working on the global design team, was working on the Fiori design concept and also producing the Fiori design guidelines. It was very great to join the Business One team. For me, is a great chance, to apply my knowledge from the Fiori design, from the central team, to a specific product like Business One, which is already matured and have lots of customers already. It was officially announced that we already have more than 60,000 customers, which is very amazing. So yes, I started with Business One, and I got to know the current version. My role as UX product manager is basically focusing on the usability and user experience topics from the product management and solution management of Business One. So besides working on improving the usability of current versions, depending on the feedback of partners and customers, also working on newer versions of the product, and put the user on the focus. So Jacob said something very interesting in the beginning, that the user experience and user interface is really the very first touch of the customer when they get to know a product, and this is exactly what it makes it very important for any kind of product, any kind of application. So some people even say, the UI is the face of a product, which basically the user is interacting with it. So it's a fascinating time. Everything is going on. You also showed some use cases, people using different devices. People have different kind of expectations. They want to interact with the products in the best way, especially for a business application. It's even more important to have effective interaction between the user and the system. They basically want to have the most important information on their fingertips, at the right time, in order to be able to decide properly. And this is what is also our goal, to empower the users and make them more productive using, the products that we offer. So yes, it's a very fascinating time, and I think the UX topic is something that is getting more and more important in different companies, and different companies are really paying attention to that. And one of the steps that SAP as a whole did a couple of years ago was starting to define the user experience language, the SAP Fiori design language for SAP products, to improve the usability of the products, make a coherent and consistent user experience language for all the products.
All right.
I always say we do not need to reinvent the wheel, defining for each product how tables would look like, how drop-down menus would look like. If you have it there as a basis toolkit, what we already have, in SAP UI5, we can just build upon it and put our innovative ideas to make a difference in people's lives. It's the same way, as you said, in loosely coupled, you can take what you already have, and you do not need to make it from scratch. The same thing applies also from the user experience point of view. So it's very good to have a solid and well-defined, thoughtful user experience, and build upon it based on the best practices, UI patterns that already exist.
So you have a great challenge now, which is adapting the interface of Business One, which is a product now, I think, with almost 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. But from one way of doing things, from one way of interfacing with the users, to let's say a completely new approach with a more modernized, using the Fiori principles, if I may say that way. This, although this is a very big challenge, is kind of the same road as of some partners which are already solid in some markets with their solutions based with V1 SDK, for example, or any other legacy technology, and they also need to kind of facelift or improve their user experiences. So, what are those if those challenges are similar? But what do you see that partners can do to overcome them? Should they just throw everything in the direction, let's build it from scratch, or can you go in a more gradual way, or how do you see that is a good way of partners doing it, and what are you doing in Business One in that sense?
So the question is a very good question. It's, as you said, something that's not internally at SAP, but also lots of partners are going through it. And it's a very important process. So what I would say is that very similar to the new architecture approaches, the cloud native based applications, that is a very new thing to learn in the development process. It's also a new thing to let's say, modernize or map the existing user interface to Fiori applications. So you have a whole software and monolithic application that you had already, and you would like to map it to a Fiori Launchpad as a home, and including different kind of Fiori applications, which is placed as tiles on your screen, defining different business processes for a specific user role, right? So already from the definition part, you need to think about how you would map the functionality of your product to these kind of single application that each of them are very simple to understand and simple to interact with. But as a whole, the combination would give you the whole functionality that your users need. So this is one of the important things that you would start. How I would suggest to go through this process is to also use the methodology that SAP is also doing as whole. So defining personas, put really the user's needs and the user's goals, the pain points of the user on the focus, not just only the functionalities, and try to understand these requirements and try with your design to cover as much as possible those kind of needs.
All right. I'm very, very glad you said that, because I think that makes us a hook to other subject, which is the importance of prototyping, right? Interaction with the users, how we can leverage the best UX with the feedbacks from the user, not only developers closed in a room and trying to make out the best UX. No, we have to have the user input. So Trini, I think that's a good hook for you, right? So
yeah,
what can you tell us about prototyping and the importance of it? What have you been playing with the last couple of months?
Okay, so we are playing a lot in our team. Let me know if you see my screen or not.
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, so we have been playing a lot with the concept of personas and user-centric and get the user needs, etc. And it is called design thinking. So if you got in contact with your LPs, there will be workshops all around the world talking about design thinking. So design thinking is the way to create prototypes and take really the user needs as the first point. So really to be able to gather all the entries, etc. So this design thinking gets from defining a persona, what are their needs, and how it should be done, doing some prototypes just by writing in a paper and then discussing about it, what is missing, which information should be shown, etc. So this is the way, and all the consultants should be trained from partners about it. So it's a productive way to really build the applications that the customers are expecting, and not to build an application and then receive 100 feedbacks of the customer just when the application is ready to be delivered. So this is a concept, the design thinking, and the design thinking is based, so for us developers, maybe it's more useful, something that we can really touch. So at the end of all this design thinking workshop, you come up with kind of prototype, and you use a tool that is called Build. So this tool is available on SAP. You can connect not to sap.build.me, but to just www.build.me. There you can have a trial account, and you can start developing. Just I'm using an SAP network because it's the one that I'm used to work with, but just go to the public one. So this is just for internal SAP. So what we do with this tool, we can create high fidelity and low fidelity prototypes. Low fidelity is more like you make by hand, or your screens, you make pictures and you discuss around those pictures and how they should be linked different pages together, etc. And the second type is the high fidelity prototype. And this is something that can help you a lot as a developer. So many times the consultants come to you and they explain you what they need. You make takes some time to put in place what they are asking, and then you get back to them and it was completely the opposite what they wanted because they didn't explain it as you understood it. So this high fidelity is something, this build tool is something that can be very useful. You can give it to your consultants. You just ask them to come to this page, create a new project. From that project, you just give it a name and a description if you want. You can start creating a persona, creating some images for low fidelity prototypes. You can create a study, but let's go to the part that is more interesting for us as developers. So it's to create a prototype. So it will be similar to Web IDE or any API UX tool for designing APIs. You can start with some existing templates, freestyle, so it's whatever you want to, object page, work list, master detail, report. So we have many kind of templates. There are also the possibility to start with samples. I will not show the whole options here, but just in some clicks, you can see that I will be able to build a prototype. And I think a consultant that is trained to work on that can really easily do it. So it's composed of master page and a detail page. I just have here the pre-defined main page and details page. And you see that it's just some data coming from somewhere. And the nice thing here is that you can use the data tab to connect to a data source. So you go connect to SAP API Management and SAP API Hub. I think Ralph is going to talk a bit about SAP API Management, but in short, it's a way where you can expose APIs. And API Business Hub is also exposed APIs. We have exposed APIs for Business One, but we are in OData version 4, and Build doesn't support yet OData version 4. But if not, we could be able to search here any APIs from Business One service layer exposed in API Hub, and you will be able to directly connect to them. Because we are OData 4, we need to go some step behind. We can, for example, what we did is create some kind of, no, I don't want to go that one. I want to import a file back. So what we can do, now I messed it up. I need to go to the data editor. Sorry, to delete that. Now I can go back. It has created another, okay. So now I can import a file. So what we did is just to have some, an Excel file with some data on it and some metadata. So we created business partners, contact employees, and invoices. All this due, I repeat, to the OData version 4 that we don't support, that is not supported in Build, will be soon. So we can start, for example, if we want to link that to business partners, for example, very easily, we can just drag and drop and say card code, I want it to be shown here. Card name, I want it to be here. I want to have the currency here. I can have the current account balance here. So you see, just drag and dropping and filling all the information. I can then go to one of these columns, and when I select one of those, I want to see the details. So just by basing my item click, I want to navigate to the details page. And I just say, I'll just do that. And my navigation will start going from this main page to the other one. Let's see it very fast. So here, when I select different ones, it will change. We didn't do anything in the page. Let me just drag and drop one. I will not. I see that it's almost time to end. It goes always too fast. So let me go to this page again. Let me go to the detail page and fill some data on it.
Don't worry with the time, you can extend a little bit.
Okay, good. We always get the time against us. So now I want to show for each business partner. I will not do the header part. I will just do here the name, the phone, and the email here. I don't have any money from each one of them, but I could have the money they have earned, each one of them. But you see that I can really put whatever I want. And now if I go again to the preview, when I change the selection in the left side, it didn't work. Why that? Up, sorry. So I will leave it like that, maybe. With a. I maybe show you the one I have. So in the detail page.
I think you just forgot to link both pages.
I think I did, but I think, no, it didn't. You see, it didn't come here. I don't see, it hasn't been recorded. No, not card code, name. You see, it's not there. Now it is. You see? Now it's there. I don't know what I did. The phone and the email. So now I see it. I don't know if it came before or not. I'm not sure. So now I go again to visualize all that. And as soon as I change, I think this doesn't have, but you see that everything is linked. So I don't know what do you think? I would like to have feedback from you. I think a consultant should be able to do that. So he can come, he can add anything, he can add controls, a toggle button, a link, another button, whatever. They have the complete library here. They add whatever they want, wherever they want it. And they just put everything, all the fields. They can enter things fixed. They don't even have to link to data if they don't want to. But they can provide this to you. You can create a case study and you can share it with the customer. The customer can give feedback directly on these pages that you show. And at the end, what they can do is to share with you. And then you can go to Web IDE, or here you can directly download a zip. You go to Web IDE and you import it from Web IDE. Maybe next session we can go to the second part of it, how to import it from Web IDE, because I think it's a bit too late.
Yeah. But I think they got the full idea. Yeah. I share in the chat as well the Open SAP course about how you can prototype with Build. So yes. This tool, and it's a very nice tool. And there's even Trina just show like a very, very simple things, but you can also interact with the customers, see a user study, like for example, where your customers are clicking, where they expect the things to be. They can have real comments into your user interface, so you can adapt according to the customer needs. A very, very nice tool for prototyping. And I will announce something that you might not be aware, but Jacob is not just the LP for APJ, but this guy won an SAP UI5 award once, right? A Fiori best
twice
Fiori
actually.
Twice. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So yeah, how was it? How long was it? Like 2 years ago or something?
It was 2015 and 2016. The build your own SAP Fiori app in the cloud challenge for both years. Yeah. So back then I was actually working with a B1 partner. So basically I just had some ideas, and then I just it was my first time using SAP Fiori as well. So it's like really easy to use SAP Fiori and using the build tool and SAP UI5. So I really like it. I'm a big fan of SAP Fiori actually. So yeah, it's a good experience. So for audience out there, if you haven't tested out, my word of advice is to get your hands on and really try to use it. Yeah, it's really good.
Right, and I don't know if you're still like developing, doing your prototypes with SAP UI5 so far, but how do you see the evolution from the 3 years back where you started, from like these tools we have today of prototyping and just dragging and dropping things? It was not like this back then, right?
Yes, it was not like this back then, and last time it was even much slower, and build has a lot of issues and a lot of bugs, but now it's much faster and it's much smooth. And in terms of the SAP, the Web IDE, it has transformed a lot, especially now with the full stack that you could include APIs and then the OData versions and all. It has been updated. So I think it's really much better at this current state right now. Yeah.
Cool. Very, very nice. Very interesting. So I would like just to, we are almost short on time, like we should be finishing right now, but I just want to like you to talk briefly about one last topic. So one of the guys in our audience, Andres, mentioned previously that he wants to learn a little bit more about how multi-tenancy works in the SAP Cloud Platform. How can I do my apps? Because this is a big shift for Business One solutions. Normally, when you do an SDK add-on, it's based in one user, in one company, for that specific person that is using that app. But now, if you're going cloud, how my app will support these many users running at once, or even though, how can I support multiple companies running on that, right? Honestly, I see two ways of doing that in the SAP Cloud Platform. The first one is in using one feature they have for implementing multi-tenancy on top of Java apps, Java systems. So basically what they will do is that they will create instances of your application for each of the customers that subscribe to that app. So once you implemented the multi-tenancy based on Java in SAP Cloud Platform, the customers, the users that you allow, will have the option to subscribe to your application. And once they do that, the SAP Cloud Platform will be creating in the back scenes, right, creating an instance for that customer to use it. Of course, you can update all the instances at once. They are I don't know how they are refreshed in details. I never dig into this capability, but I know it is possible. And this is kind of the way that the SAP Cloud Platform provides some services for us as users. For example, when you subscribe to the SAP Web ID full stack, for example, if you think in the architecture of that solution, it's also a multi-tenant application, right? Because it is provided is being accessed by many of the users. They need to have a separation of the data, so I don't see the projects from another company, for example. And the way you have to make this enable on your account, you need to subscribe to that service, to that SAP Web ID service. So this is kind of the same experience you can have if you are implementing a Java application. Most of the partners I have talked to are not implementing Java applications; they're using other technologies. So, what is in the table for those partners? There isn't anything native on the SAP Cloud Platform that will simply, in a blink of an eye, implement multi-tenancy and make your app multi-tenant. You need to prepare that multi-tenancy from scratch. So, when you think of your tables, you need to implement that multi-tenancy layer. When you think about your application layer, that should have also on multi-tenancy preparation. So you as a software developer, as a business developer, should have this worry and create this application based on with the multi-tenancy in mind. What we are preparing in the Business One side is not a specific SAP Cloud Platform thing, but is something that we on the B1 side is preparing. Is something that we are gonna talk in at a first glance right now. Which, let me just share my screen in here. And this will be the only slide that we will be sharing today. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. So this is something
we are not seeing the slide.
You're not seeing yet. Let me see.
We see your screen, but I think it's not the right one.
Okay. Yeah, it's not.
Just mountains. Nice lake.
Stop mountain. Stop.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Oh, that was not the case. Oh my God, I lost my window with the Hangout. Where is it now? Okay.
In another desktop.
Let's try it again. Okay, share. Screen number 2. Okay, now you should be seeing the slides. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
The Business One development team, they are working we are working with them in this piece of software that might help your application that is cloud hosted to communicate with several Business One systems and having your application more transparent as possible. So this feature, this piece, let's say, service we call Business One API Manager. And this API Manager will be responsible for redirecting the traffic from your solution to any specific Business One system. So the whole idea of this loosely coupled approach that we are preaching a lot is basically have the Business One separated, right? So your solution can communicate with a Business One that is separate. But your solution is now a multi-tenant solution, so it will support many customers from many users. And that means that this solution will have to communicate with many Business Ones that are hosted in different places. Could be on-premise, could be cloud hosted by SAP, cloud hosted by another partner. It doesn't matter. So how can you handle all those requests inside your app? So the main principle of the B1 API Manager, and we can see here on this green square, is basically that your application that will be hosted in the SAP Cloud Platform will communicate with this B1 API Manager. And apart from instead of sending instead of making a request to any specific B1 host, for example, with the port of service layer, an address from service layer, you will pass a tenant code, a tenant ID. And this tenant, which is hosted inside this B1 API manager, will reference, and this is all logic that will be inside, will be referencing the specific direction of that customer. So whenever a customer logged into your application, for example, I'm the customer from JB Parts, and I log into my app, the application will recognize me. I have my own tenant. And every time that application needs to make requests to the backend systems, it will, instead of calling the system directly, it will call the B1 API manager. The B1 API manager will receive the tenant and will redirect the request to the specific service layer that is from my customer, from my installation. And the same app can work with multiple customers in this sense by only changing the tenants, of course. This is not ready yet. We are working on that. And in the upcoming months, we're gonna start to select a few partners, probably one or maximum two per region. I think one per region is the maximum that we can support at this stage. And if you are interested, if you want to deploy, if you are deploying a cloud solution that will be accessed by many customers at once, if you want to participate in our, let's say, preview program, which is what it is, but we also need a lot of contributions from the participants. So we need to report possible bugs, enhancements that you think that you find necessary. It needs to be really collaborative participation. It's not a matter of here, give me the software, I try to do, and if it doesn't work, I stop using. No, you need to be with us in this, like almost co-developing. And yeah, if you are interested in doing that, please reach the solution architects in your region. In this case, if Andres, if you are interested in doing that, just drop a mail to Thiago Mendes. If partners from EMEA can reach Trinda or myself. In APJ, we have Yatsi, and in North America, we have Eddie and Duncan. So just ping them in email. Oh, I saw that on the Hangout. Maybe when you guys started recruiting partners, please let me know. And we, of course, we evaluate everybody. And in the beginning, we select a couple of partners, then we can run this for everybody. Trinda, did I miss anything about it?
No, I think you said everything clearly. Just one remark maybe to make it clear. So this is a preview version. It's not a real product. There's no warranty that there will be a product afterwards. We want the feedback for partners. And if you are part of it, you cannot go live with those applications. It's just for you to test and get feedback on whether it's something that can help you and we should invest on it.
Gladly said. That's very, very important. Okay, folks, I think we have another Hangout this time. It's 3-7. It passes a lot faster. Any final comments? I don't think, oh wait, just before I finish, I have some questions, but I think we need to take them offline, but no fusion things. Yeah, any final comments? Jacob?
Nope, I think it's all good, yep.
Okay, just don't forget about the seeds challenge. Call Jacob, call Yatsi, and
yes,
and do it. Masha, thank you very much for being with us. Any final comments? Any final thoughts?
Thank you so much too. So the topics this time might be a little bit more general. If you are interested in any detailed topics, just let Ralph and Jacob know for having maybe more detailed sessions on demand. Thank you so much.
Every time we talk UX, you're going to be invited. Sure. Trini, always a pleasure to have the B1 Queen with us. So any final thoughts?
No, just thank you everybody for joining us. Hope it was interesting. And do we send a link for feedback?
Yes, we send a link for feedback. So if you could, Trinda will be sharing a link.
Oh, he doesn't want me to send addresses again.
Yeah.
Are you able to do that?
Yes, I am. Sharing the internal chats, and I will gladly send them. So yeah, I'm placing one feedback survey for you guys in the chat. We always welcome your feedbacks. Everything here is tailored based actually on your opinion. So we are doing this for partners at the end of the day. So if you have any suggestions, any comments and feedback, please let us know. And yeah, if we get another great topics, we see you next month. Otherwise, take care, be safe. Thank you guys for participating. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.